Welcome students. This is the continued part of Michelsen's interferometer. In the last class we have studied regarding the principal construction and working of Michelsen's interferometer. So in this class we will go for the theory of this interferometer. In the working of this Michelsen's interferometer, we know that the two mirrors M1 and M2 are placed exactly perpendicular to each other with the help of a screw arrangement. M1 and M2 are the two mirrors. These two are placed exactly perpendicular to each other. When a mirror M1 is seen directly in the telescope, so with the help of telescope we used to see the interference fringes. So if you see the mirror directly with the help of telescope, what you can see is along with the mirror M1 there will be virtual image of mirror M2, that is M2 dash is seen in the telescope. In the construction we know that here there was the mirror M2 and in this direction here there was M1 and this here there was the position of the telescope. So if you use to see directly in the telescope, what you can see is M1 you can see, along with that the image of M2 that is formed by the reflection in the plane glass plate G. So here because of the reflection phenomenon, the image of this M2 that you can see above this M1 in the telescope, that you can call as this is the virtual image of this M2, that will be M2 dash. In the telescope here two mirrors you are going to see. One is the actual mirror M1 which is there exactly, and then the virtual image of M2, and this is formed, this M2 dash is formed because of the reflection in the glass G. So now these two, this M2 dash is the virtual image of this M2 and M1 is the actual mirror, this is the real mirror, and in between these two mirrors, so what is going to form is an air film is going to form. So in between this M1 and M2 dash there will be the air film that is created. So now look at this diagram. So look here, M1 this is the mirror and M2 dash this is the virtual mirror, and this is the virtual image formed by the mirror M2 because of this glass plate G. In between M1 and M2 dash there will be this air film in between this M1 and M2 dash. So now light from the extended source S that hits this M1 and M2 dash in this direction. So light coming from the extended source that hits this M1 and M2 dash in this direction, and again it is going to reflect in this direction. And here in the telescope what you can see is the two rays reflected from M1 and M2 dash, these two are going to interfere, and that we are going to see in the telescope. Here in the telescope that you can see. Now the observer who is seeing this phenomenon, the two reflected rays coming from M1 and M2 dash, these two rays appears to come from this point S1 and S2 dash, S1 and S2. So first ray, this ray appears to come from this point S1, and the reflected ray coming from M2 dash, this appears to come from the point S2. So now with the help of single source we have got two reflected rays, and for the observer these two reflected rays appears to come from two virtual sources S1 and S2. So now S1 and S2, these two behave as a coherent sources and these two are virtual. Now see here, the distance between the two mirrors M1 and M2 dash that I have considered as this D. Now because these two rays are reflected from the two mirrors which is at the distance D, then according to the some phenomenons of plane mirrors, the distance between two coherent sources, this will be double. This becomes equal to 2d. Distance between the two coherent sources, this becomes equal to 2d if the distance between the two plane mirrors is equal to d. So d I have considered, and the distance between the two coherent sources, this becomes equal to 2d, since m1 and m2 dash, these two are the plane mirrors. So now after the point S1 and G, these two rays are traveling the same distance. After the point S1 and G, the two rays are traveling the same distance, but the second ray is there. This second ray, this ray is traveling this much extra distance. So this S2G is there. This is the path difference. Second ray is traveling extra distance of this S2G. So now I have to find the distance this S2G. So let us suppose, so with this normal, the reflected ray, the second ray, it is making an angle theta. If this is equal to theta, then obviously this becomes equal to theta. How? Because if this is theta, then this angle becomes equal to, this will be 180, and this remaining part will be how much? If this is theta, then this angle also becomes equal to, this becomes equal to theta. So this angle becomes equal to theta. If this is theta, then this becomes equal to how much? This becomes equal to, this becomes 180 minus 2 theta, and this becomes equal to theta, obviously, because this is the triangle. So now in order to find the path difference between the two reflected rays, that is S2G, consider the triangle S1 S2G. So from the triangle S1 S2G, what we can write is cos theta is equal to, for this angle cos theta is equal to S2G divided by S1 S2, we can write, because for this angle this will be the adjacent side and this S1 S2 will be the hypotenuse. So S2G is equal to S1 S2 into cos theta, we can write. So S1 S2 is the 2D, that is distance between the two coherent sources, into cos theta, we can write. So now the path difference between the two reflected rays S2G becomes equal to 2D cos theta. So now this is the geometrical path difference. So now in order to find the optical path difference, so the second ray, the ray reflected from the second mirror M2, if you look at the working of the Michelson's interferometer, the second ray is there. The second ray that is reflected from the denser medium. That's why there is the phase change. Phase change of 180 occurs and the path of lambda by 2 occurs. So that's why the optical path difference between the two reflected rays from M1 and M2 dash becomes equal to geometrical path difference, that is 2D cos theta, and because the second ray that is reflected from the denser medium, that's why lambda by 2, either we have to subtract or we have to add, because this much path change, phase change of 180 means path change of lambda by 2 occurs. So that's why the effective path difference, that is optical path difference between the two reflected rays coming from M1 and M2 dash, so this becomes equal to 2D cos theta minus lambda by 2. So now what are the conditions for the bright fringe and dark fringe? If you look means, so for the bright fringe, the optical path difference, that should be equal to integral multiple of wavelength of light used, that is m lambda. So optical path difference for these two reflected rays is 2D cos theta minus lambda by 2, and this 2D cos theta minus lambda by 2 should be equal to m lambda. If you simplify this, do the mathematics, and what you are going to get is the 2D cos theta is there, this should be equal to 2m plus 1 lambda by 2. So now this is the condition for the bright fringe in the case of Michelson's interferometer. So now for the same thing, if you continue for the dark fringe, for the dark fringe the condition is the optical path difference should be equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. So already this optical path difference 2d cos theta minus lambda by 2 is there. In the RHS side 2m plus 1 lambda by 2 is there. If you do the mathematics and if you simplify that, what you are going to get ultimately is 2d cos theta is equal to m lambda you are going to get. This is the condition for the dark fringe and this is the condition for the bright fringe in the case of Michelson's interferometer. So now what are the types of fringes that you are going to observe in this experiment, that we will study one by one. First is, the first type of fringe that you can see is circular fringes. So when you are going to see the circular fringes means when M1 and M2 both the mirrors with the help of screws, if you made exactly perpendicular to each other, then in the telescope the image of M2 is formed and that will be exactly parallel to M1. If you made M1 and M2 exactly perpendicular, then M1 and M2 dash, where M2 dash is the image of M2, that becomes exactly parallel to each other. Then in between M1 and M2 dash there will be the air film of the same thickness. So because of this, what you are going to see is circular fringes you are going to see, that is concentric alternate bright and dark fringes you can see in the telescope. So this is the condition. If M1 and M2 dash, if these two coincide with each other means nothing you are going to see, darkness will be there in the telescope. Then second type of fringes you are going to see is localized fringes or straight fringes. So when you are going to see these kind of fringes means when the mirror M1 and virtual mirror M2 dash, that is image of M2, are inclined. If M1 and M2 are not exactly perpendicular, if it is tilted, then the air film that is created between M1 and M2 dash, here will be M1, here will be M2 in the construction of the Michelson's interferometer. If these two are exactly perpendicular, then the image of this M2 will be exactly parallel to this M1. If this arrangement is changed, if it is inclined little bit, one of this is inclined means image is there, M2 image, that is going to be not exactly parallel with the M1. So if this is the case, then the air film in between M1 and M2 dash, this will be of wedge shape. This is of wedge. This is of wedge shape means of variable thickness. So if this is the case, then see, look at the figure here. First case, M1 is exactly straight and the image of M2 is, it is little bit inclined. So in between M1 and M2 dash, air film of variable thickness is there. So thickness of the air film, that is variable. So if this is the case, then what kind of fringes you are going to get is like this. So where the thickness of the air film is more, there a small fringe. Then as the thickness of this air film that is decreasing means this radius of the fringe that is increases. So here least thickness of the air film is there, that side you are having the maximum area that is covered by the fringe. So this you are going to see. Now look at the second case, that is if M1 and M2 dash exactly crossing each other means straight fringes you are going to get, alternate bright and dark straight fringes are going to see when M1 and M2 exactly intersect each other in the middle. In the middle, if M1 and M2 dash are exactly intersecting, then the straight alternate bright and dark fringes you are going to see. And in the third case, the same. This is exactly opposite. So at this position, the thickness of the air film is less. There, the fringe of the large radius you are having, then as the thickness of the air film that is increasing, then the radius of the fringe that is decreasing. They are curved and are always convex towards the thin edge. They are curved and they are convex towards the thin edge. So these type of fringes that you are going to observe. So here completes the construction, working and the theory of Michelson's interferometer. So this is very important question from the exam point of view. Here completes this. Now we'll go for the uses of Michelson's interferometer. So already in the introduction I have told, so with the help of this we can find the wavelength of light, and we can find the difference in the wavelength of two waves. If two waves you are having, then you can find the difference between the difference in the wavelength between the two waves, and then you can determine the thickness of thin transparent sheet. So if the thickness of the sheet is very small, that also you can determine with the help of this Michelson's interferometer. Then you can determine the refractive index of the gases, and then it is used to standardize the meter. So here completes this. Take the assignment, students. Describe the construction working at theory of Michelson's interferometer. Thank you.